Right now, one narrow stretch of water is quietly shaping global trade, energy markets, and international diplomacy. Every day, hundreds of cargo ships pass through it. But recently, the Red Sea has become one of the most closely watched shipping corridors on the planet. Hi, welcome to Global Strategy Brief. Today we're exploring an important question. Why has the Red Sea suddenly become one of the most important shipping routes in the world? At first glance, it might just look like a long body of water between Africa and the Middle East. But in reality, it connects some of the most critical trade routes on Earth. Energy shipments, consumer goods, food supplies, industrial materials. A large portion of global trade moves through this corridor every single day. And recently, governments, shipping companies, and global markets have all started paying much closer attention. So, in this video, we'll break it down step by step. We'll look at the history of this route, why it matters today, and what it could mean for the global economy in the future. To understand why the Red Sea matters so much, we first need to look at geography. The Red Sea sits between two continents. On one side is Northeast Africa. On the other side is the Arabian Peninsula. At the northern end of the sea lies one of the most important engineering projects in human history, the Suez Canal. This canal connects the Red Sea to the Mediterranean Sea. That connection is incredibly important because it creates the shortest sea route between Europe and Asia. Before the canal existed, ships traveling between these regions had to go all the way around the southern tip of Africa. That meant sailing around the Cape of Good Hope. This route added thousands of miles and many extra days of travel. But when the Suez Canal opened in 1869, everything changed. Suddenly, ships could travel directly between the Mediterranean and the Red Sea. This dramatically shortened global shipping routes. Today, the canal and the Red Sea together form one of the most important trade corridors in the world. In fact, analysts often estimate that around 10 to 15% of global trade moves through this region. That includes consumer products, electronics, vehicles, energy shipments, industrial materials. And when a single region carries that much trade, any disruption can affect the entire global economy. Current situation. In recent years, the Red Sea corridor has become an area of increased international attention. Shipping companies, governments, and global markets have all been watching developments closely. One reason is simple. This region includes a narrow passage at the southern end called the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. The name translates roughly to Gate of Tears, a historical reference to the difficulty of navigating the strait centuries ago. Today, it remains one of the most important choke points in global shipping. At its narrowest point, the strait is only about 20 miles wide. But despite its size, it connects two massive bodies of water. To the south lies the Gulf of Aden, which opens into the Indian Ocean. To the north lies the Red Sea, which leads directly to the Suez Canal. That means ships traveling between Asia, the Middle East, and Europe must pass through this narrow gateway. Every year, thousands of vessels carry goods through this route. Energy shipments from the Persian Gulf, manufactured goods from Asia, industrial equipment heading to European markets. Because of this, shipping traffic through the Red Sea has increased significantly over the past few decades. Globalization has connected supply chains across continents, and the Red Sea sits right in the middle of those connections. But recently, the strategic importance of the region has become even more visible. Shipping companies have started adjusting routes. Insurance costs for vessels have fluctuated. Governments have increased their monitoring of maritime activity, and global markets have been paying close attention to how events in this region might affect trade flows. So the big question becomes, why does this single maritime corridor matter so much? 2. Strategic analysis. To understand the strategic importance of the Red Sea, we need to look at three major factors: geography, trade, and global power dynamics. Geography, a natural choke point. Certain locations around the world naturally become strategic because of geography. The Red Sea is one of those places. It acts as a bridge between multiple regions. Ships traveling between Europe, Asia, and the Middle East often rely on this route. Because of that, the sea contains several critical maritime choke points: the Bab el-Mandeb Strait at the southern entrance, and the Suez Canal at the northern end. When two narrow passages control a large amount of global trade, they become extremely important. Even small changes in traffic through these choke points can affect global supply chains. Global trade dependence. Another reason the Red Sea matters is the scale of modern global trade. Today's economy relies heavily on international shipping. More than 80% of global trade by volume moves by sea. That includes everything from smartphones to food supplies. For trade between Asia and Europe, the Red Sea route is the fastest and most efficient option. For example, a ship traveling from China to Germany can save 10 to 15 days of travel by using the Suez Canal instead of sailing around Africa. Those time savings translate into lower fuel costs, faster deliveries, more efficient supply chains. For global businesses, that efficiency matters a lot, which is why thousands of vessels choose this route every year. Strategic maritime presence. Because of its importance, the Red Sea region has also attracted increased strategic attention from multiple countries. Several nations maintain naval facilities or maritime monitoring operations nearby. For example, the small country of Djibouti, located near the el-Mandeb Strait, hosts military facilities used by multiple international partners. These facilities support maritime monitoring, anti-piracy operations, shipping protection missions. The goal is simple: maintain stability along one of the world's busiest trade corridors. When a shipping route carries such a large portion of global commerce, maintaining safe navigation becomes a priority for many governments. 3. Global impact. So why does this matter to people living thousands of miles away? Because the Red Sea influences several major parts of the global economy. Energy markets. One of the biggest impacts involves energy. Large amounts of oil and liquefied natural gas travel through the Red Sea each year. Energy shipments from the Middle East often pass through the Suez Canal on their way to Europe and other markets. If shipping through the region slows down or becomes more expensive, energy prices can respond. And energy prices affect many parts of daily life. Transportation, manufacturing, electricity costs. Even food prices can be influenced by changes in energy markets. Consumer goods. Another major impact involves everyday products. Many goods purchased in Europe and North America are manufactured in Asia. Those products often travel by cargo ship. Electronics, clothing, home appliances, furniture. If shipping routes change or take longer, it can affect how quickly products reach stores. It can also influence shipping costs. For global supply chains, the Red Sea acts like a major highway. And when a highway becomes congested or disrupted, traffic patterns shift. Shipping industry adjustments. Shipping companies constantly monitor global routes. If a major corridor becomes uncertain, companies may adjust their navigation plans. For example, some vessels might choose the longer route around the Cape of Good Hope. But this alternative has costs. It adds thousands of miles to a journey. It increases fuel usage. And it delays deliveries. So companies must weigh the benefits of speed against operational costs. These decisions can influence freight prices across global markets. International diplomacy. Another major effect involves diplomacy. When a region becomes critical to global trade, many governments take interest in maintaining stability there. This can lead to international cooperation, maritime security partnerships, diplomatic engagement between regional countries. The Red Sea has therefore become not just a shipping corridor, but also a focus of international discussion about maritime stability and economic security. 4. Future scenarios. Looking ahead, there are several possible paths for how the Red Sea's importance may evolve. Let's explore a few realistic scenarios. Scenario 1. Continued strategic importance. The most likely outcome is that the Red Sea remains one of the world's most important shipping corridors. Global trade between Asia and Europe is expected to remain strong, and the Suez Canal will likely continue serving as the fastest route between these regions. In this scenario, maritime monitoring and international cooperation may increase to ensure stable navigation. Scenario 2. Diversified trade routes. Another possibility is that global shipping companies gradually diversify routes. For example, Some cargo may travel through alternative corridors such as rail connections between Asia and Europe. Others may continue using the longer route around southern Africa during certain periods. Diversification can help supply chains become more resilient. But the Red Sea would still remain a central artery of global commerce. Scenario 3. Infrastructure expansion. Another future development could involve improvements to global shipping infrastructure. Ports along the Red Sea coast may expand. Logistics hubs may grow. And digital navigation systems may improve maritime efficiency. These investments could further strengthen the region's role in global trade. 5. Conclusion. The Red Sea may look like just another body of water on the map, but in reality it sits at the crossroads of global commerce. It connects 3 continents. It links major trade routes, and it supports the movement of energy, goods, and resources around the world. From the Bab el-Mandeb Strait in the south to the Suez Canal in the north, this corridor forms one of the most important maritime pathways on Earth. That's why governments, shipping companies, and global markets all pay close attention to what happens here. Because when a single route carries such a large portion of global trade, even small changes can ripple across the world economy. And understanding these strategic connections helps us better understand how global trade truly works. So the next time you hear about developments in the Red Sea, remember, you're not just hearing about a distant body of water. You're hearing about one of the most important highways of the modern global economy.